The auditorium buzzed with excitement, filled with proud parents and eager graduates adorned in caps and gowns. I sat near the back, clutching my program, watching my son David stride across the stage to receive his diploma. Applause erupted, and I felt a swell of pride so fierce it almost took my breath away. This was the culmination of years of sacrifice and late nights, a dream realized not just by him but by all of us who had supported him along the way. As the crowd began to mingle, I caught sight of Karen, David's wife, standing a few feet away with a tight smile plastered across her face. Her eyes flicked toward me briefly, then away, as if I were a shadow she wished to avoid. She leaned close to whisper something to her sister, but before she did, I overheard her mutter, just low enough for me to catch, "She's irrelevant now that David has moved on." The words hit me like a cold slap, sharp and unexpected amid the joyous chaos. I blinked, wondering if I'd misheard, but no, the disdain was unmistakable. I remembered the hours I spent meticulously preparing for this day, the careful selection of David's graduation gift, the dress I picked out weeks ago. More than that, though, I thought about the years before this moment, the early mornings helping with homework, the sacrifices I made working extra shifts so David could attend a better school, the countless nights I stayed awake worrying about his future. I had been there for every step, every stumble, every triumph. And yet, here was Karen, whispering that I was now irrelevant, as if my role had expired the moment David donned his cap and gown. The memories flooded back, and a familiar ache settled in my chest. A few hours earlier, as the house buzzed with energy while we prepared for the ceremony, Karen had been distant, curt even, in her remarks. "Mom, could you please not make such a fuss," she'd said sharply when I tried to help set the table. I'd smiled politely, brushing it off as nerves or stress, but now I realized it was more than that, an undercurrent of resentment I hadn't noticed before. Throughout the evening, I found myself observing Karen's subtle efforts to exclude me. During conversations, she would redirect attention away from me, steering David's friends and family toward her own stories and achievements. At the photo station, she stood between David and me, blocking my view and ensuring that I wasn't included in the group shots. Each slight felt like a pinprick, but I kept my composure, determined not to let her see how much it stung. The whispered insult lingered in my mind like a shadow. Irrelevant. The word echoed, making my heart ache with a mixture of sadness and anger. I thought of all the times I had been there for David, his first steps, his heartbreaks, his late-night calls when he needed advice or just someone to listen. How could Karen dismiss all that with a single cruel whisper? Yet, I chose to remain composed. There was no need to confront her in front of the crowd, no need to create a scene on a day meant for celebration. Instead, I watched and waited, gathering my thoughts, steeling myself for what I would say when the moment was right. The ceremony ended with cheers and congratulations, but as guests began to file out, I found a quiet corner to collect myself. The warmth of the family gathering only highlighted the chill that Karen's words had left behind. I knew I couldn't let this go unchallenged, not because I wanted to fight, but because I needed to remind everyone, especially David, that the bonds forged over years cannot be so easily dismissed. I resolved then to plan a calm but firm response, one that would honor the love and history we shared rather than escalate tensions. I would remind Karen, and anyone else who doubted, that my place in David's life was not defined by fleeting moments or status, but by the foundation I had helped build. As I stood there, the sounds of laughter and celebration ringing around me, I felt a quiet strength growing within. The night was far from over, and I intended to reclaim my place with dignity and grace. This was not just about a day or a ceremony, it was about the enduring ties of family, the sacrifices made in silence, and the unspoken love that no whispered insult could ever erase. Later that evening, as the last of the guests drifted away and the soft hum of the city settled outside the window, I found myself standing in the quiet living room with Karen. The moment had arrived, one I'd rehearsed in my mind countless times but dreaded nonetheless. I needed to say what had been simmering beneath the surface, not with anger or accusation, but with the warmth and strength that had carried me through years of motherhood. I approached her slowly, offering a smile that was both gentle and resolute. "Karen," I began, my voice steady, "I want to talk about tonight." She looked up, surprise flickering in her eyes, as if she hadn't expected me to confront her at all. "I know things have felt strained," I continued, "and I want to share something important with you. David didn't get here by chance. I was there through every step, the late nights helping him study, the sacrifices I made to give him opportunities, the endless support when he doubted himself. My words were not meant to chastise but to remind, to bridge the gap that had quietly grown between us. She shifted uncomfortably, her arms folding across her chest, and I could see the walls she'd built beginning to crack, if only slightly. I raised him too, she said softly, a hint of defensiveness in her tone. I'm part of his life now. I nodded, acknowledging her place. I don't doubt that, Karen. You are part of his life, and I want us to be part of this family together. But family isn't just about being here now, it's about the shared history, the love, and the foundation we build over time. The values I instilled in David, hard work, kindness, perseverance, they're the roots that helped him grow into the men we both love. Her eyes flickered with a mixture of discomfort and something closer to respect. I pressed on, sharing stories of David's childhood, the time he stayed up all night to finish a science project, the afternoons spent at the library when he could have been playing outside, the moments when he struggled but never gave up. These moments shaped him, I said softly. They made him who he is. Karen's shoulders relaxed just a bit, and I sensed the walls falling further. I didn't realize, she whispered, her voice tinged with regret. I guess I've been so caught up in the present that I forgot about the past. That's understandable, I replied, my tone forgiving. But relevance isn't about the here and now alone. It's about the love and care that have been constant, even when things changed. I want you to know, I'm not stepping aside. I will always be part of David's life, and I hope we can find a way to support each other instead of feeling divided. At that moment, David entered the room, drawn by the quiet conversation. He stood beside me, his eyes warm but serious, as if he sensed the weight of what was being said. Mom, he said quietly, I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me. The person I am today is because of you. And I want you to know, Karen, that this family is stronger when we all respect and support each other. Karen glanced between us, the tension in her posture easing. You're right, she said finally, her voice softer now. I didn't mean to make you feel excluded. I guess I was scared that things were changing too fast. David smiled gently. Change is hard, but it doesn't mean we lose what's important. He reached out, taking both our hands, a silent promise that the bonds between us were not so easily broken. The atmosphere shifted, the heaviness lifting as understanding began to take root. What could have been a moment of division turned into one of connection and reflection. I felt a quiet hope stirring inside me, that perhaps this was the beginning of a new chapter, not just for David and me, but for all of us. As the night deepened, we sat together, sharing stories and laughter, the earlier bitterness replaced by a tentative warmth. I realized then that sometimes, it takes courage not just to stand firm but to open a door for healing. And in that openness, there was the possibility of something stronger than hurt, a family united by more than just circumstance, bound by love and respect. In the days that followed, a subtle but meaningful shift took place within our family. Karen's demeanor softened in ways that surprised me, revealing glimpses of the warmth and respect I had long hoped for but never fully expected. It was as if the walls she had built around herself began to crumble, allowing space for genuine connection and understanding to grow. One afternoon, David invited me over for a quiet lunch at their home. The table was set with care, and Karen greeted me not with the usual guardedness but with a sincere smile that reached her eyes. Mom, she said, I've been thinking a lot about what you said. I realize now how much you've given, not just to David, but to all of us. I want to do better, to be part of that, not apart from it. Hearing those words felt like a balm to my heart. It was an acknowledgement I hadn't dared to hope for so soon, a step toward healing the fractures that had threatened to pull us apart. I returned her smile, feeling a renewed sense of belonging and purpose within this family. David, too, played an active role in nurturing this newfound harmony. He spoke openly about the importance of including me in family celebrations and everyday moments alike, eager to bridge any gaps that had formed. Mom, he said one evening over coffee, you've shaped who I am more than anyone. I want everyone to remember that, and I want you to feel that you belong here, always. His words filled me with a quiet pride and gratitude. It was a reminder that, despite the challenges and misunderstandings, the bonds forged through years of love and sacrifice remained unbreakable. I felt empowered to assert my place within the family with grace and confidence, no longer questioning my value or relevance. Together, we began planning a small family gathering, a simple affair, but rich with symbolism. It was to be a celebration not just of David's achievement, but of the unity and strength that come from enduring bonds. Invitations were sent with care, emphasizing the importance of respect and togetherness over competition or discord. When the day arrived, the atmosphere was light and joyful, a testament to the progress we had made. Conversations flowed freely, laughter echoed through the rooms, and I found myself surrounded by faces both familiar and new, all sharing in the warmth of connection. Karen and I exchanged smiles that spoke of mutual understanding, a silent agreement that we were partners in this family's future rather than adversaries. As I watched David interact with his friends and relatives, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey had not been without its pain, but it had led to a place where dignity and love triumphed over hurt and division. I understood then that standing firm in one's worth, even in the face of dismissal, was a powerful act of resilience. Reflecting on these events, I realized that family dynamics are complex and ever-changing, shaped by moments both tender and difficult. Yet, it is through these experiences that we grow stronger, learning to embrace each other's imperfections and value the histories that bind us. This chapter in our lives reaffirmed the importance of nurturing meaningful connections, of speaking truths with kindness, and of recognizing the enduring power of love. It inspired me to continue standing tall, not just for myself, but for the family I cherish, confident that respect and understanding would guide us forward.